Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today, I am Blake.
And I'm Krista.
And today's video, we're going to be talking about how we personally navigate life as Christians. We're going to talk a little bit about our prayer life and how we read the Word, how we flow in marriage together, raising children, all of the above. But first, before we get into it, do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button, the little red button somewhere around our face. Hit that button, and then also hit the bell, the notifications button, so you'll be notified when we post one of our videos. We also are going to be posting on podcast platforms on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Store. So if you're on those, you can go there and find us, Blake and Krista. But yeah, we're excited about today's show. And without further ado, we're going to jump right in it. So
The topic, how do we navigate our life as Christians?
Yeah.
And I like to insert that little phrase, the try to, expect to, plan to, because full transparency, it's
she
never
misses
perfect.
it a lot more than she gets it. So
It's never perfect. But in today's world, I feel like I'm going to say that a lot. In today's world,
yeah,
you have to be intentional about
being a Christian.
being a Christian, being about anything that you care about. And if you care about your life, care about your family, care about your salvation, you care about happiness on this earth, because the Lord desires for us to have that here as well as heaven.
Can't be lukewarm, is what you're saying essentially.
Yes. So, but when we talk about how do we navigate our lives, our family, our relationship, how do we do that?
Well,
we do it intentionally. So here's at least what we plan to, or how we hope to live.
Well, let's even start it by saying, how do we start our days? And we're going to first off, we're going to hit on about how do we honor each other in marriage, and like you said, not just in the lovey-dovey parts like Valentine's Day or whatever, birthdays, but how do we do it in the hard parts?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is tied up in what our devotional life looks like, because like Krista said, we're not perfect.
By any means.
But at the same time, we're being led by the Lord by staying close to Him on how to navigate all life circumstances, and our marriage is a big one. So real quick, what does your devotional life look like with the Lord on a day-to-day basis? From getting up to,
Yeah. Are you asking me that?
Yes.
So the try to.
Try to, yeah.
I like that word, because I just want to be very clear that anything we talk about is always it's the level of effort that you want to put into it.
Well,
or you choose to put into it.
Yeah, we both work, and we have two small children.
Yeah. So for me, my plan each morning, because if I don't do it in the morning, if I don't schedule that
You're
time
not
out,
going to do it.
it's not going to happen.
Yes.
With work and kids.
Same with
and then
me.
the way things happen in the afternoons. So the plan is to wake up before anyone else wakes up. I know you're not here because you go to prayer. You can share that. But to wake up specifically before the kids get up.
Yeah.
In that time, it's quiet. And that's where, I try to take my prayer time, my reading time. It's not the only time, but that's my...
Yeah, I mean, it's the most quiet time.
That's my focus time. And, if I don't take the morning time to do that, it doesn't happen. So first and foremost, to start your day, I used to, have the excuse that I was too tired for that. I needed my energy to sleep, get through the rest of the day. But the truth is that if I give him that time, I give myself that time, then everything for the rest of the day
kind of flows. It's lighter.
Yeah, flows a whole lot better.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with me. I get up, quite early, 4:30. The alarm goes off, and I drive to our church, the church that we attend, and go to prayer. I try to stay there for 2 hours. Usually it's around an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, just sitting with the Lord, whether that's falling asleep, honestly, on a chair, or reading scripture, or praying. Like Krista said, the day for me, I've learned I have to start it in the presence. If I reach for my phone first, or if I just get up and go about doing something that's on the agenda, like you said, your day's lighter when you start with Him. I can notice on the days that I don't start with him for a significant amount of time. But for me, it has to press past the 30 or 45 minute mark, and it's not a religious thing. I'm not sitting there with my timer on, going, "Okay, I've sat here for 30 minutes. I've prayed for 30 minutes." But I always like to say I have to dig a well.
Yeah.
But I can tell throughout the day when I don't do that.
Yeah.
A Saturday, most of the time, when I wake up and the kids wake up or whatever. It helps. The day is lighter. You walk closer with the Lord. So our devotional life is really big in our marriage. We put the Lord first. We have to, in honor to honor each other correctly. In the hard times, we have to have an established relationship with Him where His voice is taking precedence over our emotions at certain times through life.
You know what's the most interesting thing to me about you and your devotion in the mornings? First off, if you're listening to this and you think that's absolutely crazy that he gets up at 4:30 in the morning and drives to the church.
Well, I
and
got to
sits-
get up and do something anyway. So might
Yes,
as well go
but
pray.
if you're thinking that's absolutely crazy, you're not alone. In fact, his wife thought that was absolutely crazy that he would take the time to get up and drive and do all that.
And there's mornings I don't want to do it. There's mornings where I want to hit the snooze button, but the spirit of wisdom says,
Yes.
you better get up. You'll be glad that you did.
So we're going to go back to that a lot, which is like the wisdom in it. It's not the religious side of it. It is truly the relationship side of it, the presence side of it, and then there are certain parts of your life and things that you can make routine to help you get to that part of making God first. So you hear that a lot, right, in marriages and
Well, the Bible says, give the Lord the first fruits of your increase. The church is known to tithe 10%. Give the Lord your first. Like if you get a $3,000 paycheck, you want to tithe first out of that before you do anything. Is what's taught. But if you look at that in time as well, like if I give the Lord the first part of my day, the rest of my day bears fruit. Versus giving the Lord the latter part of my day when it's stale and I'm running on fumes. And if I don't allot out that time, I won't do it. It's different when you're sitting with the Lord early in the morning versus even fellowshipping with another brother or sister over coffee around 9 or 10 o'clock. It is different.
Yeah. Well, and going back to the thinking you're crazy for that, but I witness the difference in you and your day and how you navigate your days when you do get a chance to take that time. Now, if you don't have a church to go to at 4:30 in the morning, like many people don't, they're just not open at that time.
Yeah.
What do you suggest? I mean, who?
Well, if like it all goes back to, so we're talking about navigating our life as a Christian in the world today. Where are you pulling your strength from? Is my question. YouTube is great. These videos, we hope that they bless you and they feed you, and you pick up some nuggets of wisdom from them. But at the same time, you got to look at, okay, if God has to be the life source, right? So what I would say is, set a time. I had to make it a rhythm in my life to set that alarm and get up, and you make it a habit.
Yeah.
And so you get up and you just do it. I talk to people a lot when at churches or at prisons or at the jails, and I encourage them, hey, get up before everybody. Start your day with the Lord, and you'll see the fruits of it in the months to come or the weeks to come.
Yeah, so
but it's tough in a world that we live in where culture has designed us to be build, more. Very few people have the gift of not jumping in the rat race.
Yeah.
I know a few of those people. They're just
true.
They're just kind of coasting through life, and I wish I had that. I really do. Like if I text you, I want you to text me back that moment. That's just
Before
how
you
I
send
am.
the text.
But most people wake up and they jump on the hamster wheel. This thing is pivotal, I think, where we are in the world, what's coming. I'm not a doom and gloom, but to be able to abide, it has to be more than a just kind of flowing with the Lord. I need to hear the voice of God.
Yeah.
I need to be eating on the Word.
So if you don't have a church to go to, then I've heard Blake suggest, and I do this, is to find a place in your home, your apartment, wherever you may be, that
Don't take your phone.
don't take your phone.
Don't take your phone.
And I've heard a lot of people say their prayer closet, and I love that. Like just
Yeah.
the thought of being
Yeah,
enclosed.
we have
Yeah.
friends who actually have a closet that
Yeah.
they've made
They
it
get
into.
in,
Yeah.
and so maybe be a little crazy and do the crazy
Yeah.
stuff. Step outside of what feels normal.
You'll notice a difference if
Go
you
do the
know,
crazy
like
thing.
if you wish to have a deeper devotional life with the Lord, do it, man. You'll notice. But going back to the first topic, it helps us navigate
Yes.
life because it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There's arguments. There's times where I need to be yielding to what she is saying. There's times that she needs to be yielding to what I'm saying. And if we're not both discerning in that moment because we don't have a devotional life, it'll get hectic. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of marriages go through that where they're being governed more by their emotions
Yes.
than they are the voice of the Lord.
Yep.
Marriage is work. Let's just not even, if your marriage, if you haven't had to work on some things, work on you in the marriage or work on your marriage, then kudos to you. You are just sent from heaven and you're frolicking in the abyss with the angels all day. But my personal experience, even, pastor has said it at church, marriage is work. And I have to be able to yield.
Yeah.
I have to be able to be very self-aware of you in hard moments. I
Yeah.
can't just regurgitate my own desire to whatever I want to happen or where I want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be very aware of not just myself, but you.
One of the other things that we do or that I recognize in our household, obviously, especially through Blake, is that, and this isn't to get on a man or woman topic, but Blake being the leader, truly the leader of our household from a spiritual perspective, from leading us in the Lord perspective. That's how it was designed, right?
Yeah.
So
The man is called to be the spiritual leader.
yeah,
Not in a domineering or dictatorship, but to lead,
as an honor in an honoring
the
perspective.
Bible said, the husband's supposed to love his wife like Christ loved the church and gave his life for her. So
Right.
that's pretty.
Yeah, and so if he's doing that, then the Bible says that then the wife will respect.
Submit, because her life is in his hands, essentially.
Yeah.
But both have to know their roles because they're both very powerful. The man has to know his, the woman has to know hers. So
Yeah.
anyway, we navigate our marriage, pretty good. Most times I would say, but it's all because we yield to the Lord's
Yeah.
voice in the moment.
Honoring. So I think the next kind of bullet point on how we navigate our life is
How do we live? Well, I want to ask. What's it like? Your perspective. Why are you laughing at me like that?
because I'm just waiting on the question.
Well, what is it difficult for you or not difficult to live in the culture that we live in and be a Christian?
Culture in the world.
Yeah. Like where so many, what's it like? I can tell you what it's like for me, but
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with that, so I'll let you answer the question, your question with your answer.
so living in this world, in this culture where things are so easily, where sin abounds. I don't want to talk about sin a lot, but I'm just saying it's so easy to just be culture driven where everything goes versus having to yield to the Lord. Is
Yeah.
it tough or is it not?
Well, of course it's tough. Everything is in the world is, it's to be, of the world and in the world and trying to, live up to the world standards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's tough. But when you know the truth, which is
Yeah.
what we believe,
Yes.
as Christians, going back to, the honoring topic is, and the devotion time topic that, your devotion time is reseating yourself in the truth.
Yeah.
So that you're not overtaken by the culture and the world. But I think one of the things that it helps us to go back to is like anytime that we're really might be struggling on whatever topic, maybe us, kids, work, direction, What?
Direction.
Direction.
I'm a lot of places
The
all the time. So
yes. But the honor, I recognize that when we first, got married and had seven, and life was crazy, and I, might have been going through my hormonal, changes with being pregnant and all that, fun stuff. You always went back to, you probably had to talk yourself. Remember when you were like, die to her. The Bible says, I just need to die to her.
were we going through something? I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, but it was I probably going through something. But I mean, every day is going through
I remember the
something.
Shut Up conference. I was
Yeah.
telling Bennett about that earlier.
Yeah.
If I ever do a men's conference, the title of it's going to be Learning to Shut Up.
Yeah, but the point of that is that, though, you take it back to that word honor, right? Honor is like, okay, if you dissect the word honor.
If I give a spin on it, Blake's definition, it's not like bringing you roses.
No.
Honor
Respect.
and simplicity is
Compassion.
being self-aware.
Yeah.
Of,
Love.
of not just
Loving.
me, but you.
Yeah.
I honor you by knowing exactly where you are in your emotional state in that moment, what you want to do, listening to you, and not, like I said, only looking at my take on the situation.
Being considered.
Being
Like
considerate,
always.
yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe how you honor me is like I'm always considered.
Yeah.
So that's one way we live is like our family first, our immediate family first.
Yes. Us and the kids and
Us and the kids, our decisions. That's really hard for anyone to do because you have so many obligations, whether it's work or other family members pulling at you.
yeah.
But I think you've naturally done it. Don't know how, where, why, but I recognize that that's a big part of the success in our relationship. Like for example, you come to me with any major decisions, big decisions. I do the same with you.
Gosh, I feel like I do that a lot. I do.
You do that a lot, but I think
And most of the time you say, yeah, like, go for
Yeah,
it. Or
but
you
I-
say, how much is this going to cost?
But I'm telling you, I recognize that as an honoring. It's not there's not a pull on like, oh, I should make this decision. It's more of just always in consideration for each other, how it might affect the other, and just being in it together.
Yeah.
So I will say that I think that is a huge just perspective for me to take and do the same to you, continue to, because I recognize that from you.
Yeah.
Like, and like with your family, like, our parents are siblings, that everyone has expectations or things that they would want, to happen, or how we should live our lives and how we should interact with them. But, you always, I know, recognize, come and look, to me first, or, look at our family first and then make
well,
a
I
decision.
think it's important. We move as a family.
Yeah.
I can't make any decisions outside of, considering how is this going to affect all of us.
Yeah.
So what about navigating our life? So you said that, it's not tough on you living in this culture, or you said it is tough, I'm
It is.
sorry. I would say for me, it just depends. The Lord's always told me this, what am I putting my eyes and my ears on?
Yes.
If I look at the whole, I've not struggled, but I have had to fight the whole successful American dream.
Yeah.
You build a big business, you leave that legacy. The man is I should be known in town as a successful man.
Yeah. Right.
I should have my big truck, and I should make the post about whatever. I have went back and forth with that. I've had to step over that threshold of that part of culture pulling on me and do the work of ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I've realized through owning 2 businesses and going around the mountain a couple times that if I let culture affect me a lot, then I won't truly be happy, because I'm not truly happy unless I don't want to say truly happy, but I long to do ministry.
Yeah.
It's whatever capacity that's in. So fighting culture or fighting the pull away to be in the world, it's not tough unless I give attention to certain things, cultural
Right.
norms, I guess you could say, or
Right.
normal.
Which is why one of the, I think the overarching topics of or view of how we navigate our life is trying, being intentional about not
Yeah.
being consumed with being in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's easy to say that, like, okay, we as Christians, we're going to be in the world, but not of the world. But like,
Yes.
what does that really mean? How do you do that when we are in the world? And so you do that by directing your mind and all of your lessons and your learning back to the word, right? I mean, it's like Proverbs, and I mean, all of the wisdom teachings tell us, in the Bible, how to live our life. So if you
You have to read the Bible first
yeah,
and put that out there.
yeah. So, and that is a everyday decision. That's an every moment when you find yourself being pulled into caring about the things of the world.
Yeah.
You have to bring yourself back out of that. I mean, like,
Yeah.
like you and I had these conversations regularly, right? About what do we want to do with our house? What do we want to do with the cars? What do we want to do? We bought this one.
Should I grow the business? Should I
This is
stop the
one-
business? Should I?
Oh, this is such a nice truck. We need this and that. So we do it, and then we go, oh, that's so stupid because we really don't care about that.
Oh gosh,
So,
my big thing is I'll start something and then want to stop, and then be like, oh gosh, I still got payments.
Yeah.
I can't stop.
Because we got consumed with being of the world.
And we really didn't need it. My big thing, I think, my big thing and our big thing is one, as a couple, is just having peace. That is, anytime that I've gotten outside of my devotional life with God, or I've started chasing cultural things or whatever, what's always brought me back is the peace of the Lord.
Yeah.
Being content on what we have, not being drawn away by our eyes,
Yep.
The pride of life, the lust of flesh and all that. So, yeah, the main over how do we fight culture, navigating life as Christians is just have a devotional life, stay connected to the voice of God, and walk that out. The last thing, how do we navigate our life as Christians, raising two small kids?
Wow.
They may be raising us, but we talked about earlier, what we keep them from, how we protect their little hearts and their little souls and just their little spirits. What do we let into their life? We're not big on stuff like Halloween. We're not bashing it, but we're very aware of the spiritual aspect of all things. Anytime around Christmas when Santa is mentioned, Jesus is mentioned right after as to hope to kind of overshadow the whole thing. We're not saying we're opposed to it. How much screen time they get.
And look, I'm the type, so here comes my laid backness, or I guess you could call it my lukewarmness from the past. But I definitely, when Blake started mentioning more of that about Halloween and learning more about Santa and replace of the
Well, I
focus
wasn't
on
like,
Jesus.
hey, we're gonna lock them up on Halloween.
No. I'm just
But
saying.
it's just, hey, beware of what their little hearts
Yeah.
are taking in.
Yeah,
you know?
so I used to have the perspective of, come on, it's just, they're just enjoying the festivities, but the more connected, to, because
And most people
we're
would-
spiritual beings, right? And so there's the spiritual world is going on whether you recognize it or not. So
Most people would say, hey, that's kind of serious. You don't need to be that extreme. But at the same time, you just said it. The spirit world never rests.
Yeah.
And you
and
have
recognizing
to give take to that.
and recognizing that is new for me. So you
Yeah.
talk about what season I'm in, and the season of learning about the sensitivity of the spiritual
Of their little
world.
hearts. Because we notice, we notice when they come up with a new word and it's not something that they learn from us, like, monsters or something, or, the monster's going to get me. They come down the hallway, they're screaming, they're crying, Daddy, the monster's in my room. I want to go, who told you?
Yeah, certainly we didn't
Where'd
say
that
that,
come
but-
from? And that's a very small example, but they take that and they run with it. So they're, we navigate it by watching,
Yeah, and
paying
always-
attention to what are our kids,
Yeah.
what are they looking at?
And we recognize that or us or anyone is going to be able to protect them fully, but this is not the time for anyone to be saying, I'm going to let them figure out who they want to be and where they want to be in life and what they're
No.
going to believe, because the truth is
Not if
that
you're a believer. Like if you're
but even without that, the truth is that they are not figuring it out on their own. If you are not intentional about what you believe,
Yeah.
then someone else is going to teach
well,
them.
culture is going to raise them.
Yeah, that means someone
You know,
else.
for 8 years of my life, prison raised me.
Yeah.
I knew how to navigate prison really easy.
They will watch a video. They'll listen to their friends. They will, so it's not us trying to control, their life. It is us believing wholeheartedly in the
That we have
truth
their best interests at
and
heart.
that we have their best interests. And so if I believe that that's what's best, then I'm going to do everything I can to help instill that. So for kids and how we navigate them.
And just be honest, they kick our rear end
Yeah.
all day, every day.
Yeah.
We are, I think I spoke about it in the previous video, I'm growing into just being more aware of them and how, where they are in life and where I need to be because they're a lot.
Well, and be aware, so when we talk about protecting them, and then we protect our own minds in the spiritual sense. So
Yeah.
I remember when Blake and I first got back together, I used to love to watch CSI. Was it?
The first 48. It was the first 48.
Well, I do like that. But CSI and, some of these, and one time I was just trying to relax and just let my mind rest. And Blake came up and I was watching upstairs, two-story, and Blake said, "Turn that off." And I was like, "What do you mean turn that
I
off?"
just want a little peace. She sat up in the
I said-
bed like
and I
a
started
monster.
crying. I would think I was pregnant. I was like, "Just let me watch my show. I just want to watch my show and just let me be rest." I was like, "I can't do anything that I want to do." Clearly, hormones going crazy being pregnant.
Yeah.
But I took that as just him just being nitpicky. But over time, I recognized how I did feel after I watched those shows.
Anxiety.
Anxiety comes up because it's not fruitful.
It affects your dream life, everything.
Yeah.
So we,
That's a snippet of how we
how
navigate.
we live our life. Fellowship at the church is big. Prayer is really big. Reading the Word and just being aware of what we're letting into our home, into our own lives, into our children's lives. We don't walk around in a bubble by no means, but I'm very aware that my stance in the family as the husband and the father, everything comes and goes through me, and that's a responsibility. I think men would take heed to that. You are called to lead, not just make the money, and not just be the father. I don't know the disciplinary. I don't know whatever it is that you, but to actually lead spiritually, and it's on you. When I stand before the Lord, I'm gonna have to give an account for Micah and Seven, and even you. So that's just how we do it. That's what the Lord's
That's
put
how we're
on.
doing it now.
That's how we're doing it now. So I hope you guys can relate to that or get something from that. We're all growing. We're all walking this thing out. But there's a reality that we live in by following the Lord.
So next topics up for the schedule of
My stomach has growled about 9
episodes.
times.
I have
hope
heard
y'all
it.
can't hear this. I kind of hope you can. It really don't matter.
We have a list of topics that people have shared that they want to hear discussed. So we're going to
I think
go
some
through
of the ladies
those.
wanted to hear more on how you specifically.
Deal with someone like you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good one.
husband like
Well, I'm
you.
one of a kind. So I love her.
Yeah. So we have that list. We're going to go through it, and
Before we go, if you haven't already, go over to the Facebook page, Blake and Krista. Do us a favor and hit the like button on there. Subscribe once again to the YouTube channel, and hit the bell button. Anything else?
that's it. Next topic up is going to be exciting.
Yeah. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good weekend.